What the hell is that thing? Now, this is where my jimmies are going to get ruffled. Oh, you know what that is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and associate armchair generals, and welcome to another completely unnecessary episode of the Major General's Briefing Room, broadcasting live from a damp trench outside the Ritz, London. Yes, dear viewer, it is I, the Major General, OBE, VIP, and BYOB, and expert kettle repair specialist. Today, dear viewer, we are going to be diving in for the new DLC teaser trailer for Company of Heroes. Yes, Defy and Endeavor. New divisions, fresh firepower, and hopefully with enough historical accuracy to give Monty's eyebrows a rise. Yes, we do know how our friends Down and Relic like to play fast and loose with history. But fear not, my dear viewer, I am here to hopefully keep them on the straight and narrow. We shall praise them when they keep it right, and we shall relentlessly ridicule them when they get it wrong, as they often do. But let's not dwell on their mistakes, and let's praise them for their excellence, as this game is rather excellent, and I do rather enjoy it, and hopefully to play it for many, many more years. So come, my dear viewers, and let's us have a look at this new teaser. Alright, let's get this started. I've recently installed some new kit to GHQ. Robert, if you would be so kind. Ah, well done, Robert. Help yourself to an OBE on the way out. Now, let us have a look at this new trailer. Alright, here we go. Okay, here we go. Starting things off with a bit of a bang. Yes. The Wehrmacht Last Stand Battle Group. So this is going to be obviously late war stuff. So, first of all, what the hell is that thing? I can't tell. It's definitely not a Werfer of some kind. It's definitely got a Werfer of some kind, but it doesn't match any tanks that I know of. Let's have a look at some more quickly. Oh, definitely we have the propaganda tower over there. Definitely good stuff. All right, let's have a look here. Oh, it is a Werfer of some sort. Definitely too long to be. I don't know if it's a Panzer I chassis. It's definitely not a half track. All right, let's see here. What's gonna go? Interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff there. So obviously, I think they're going to get a doctrine for heavy explosives on their vehicles when they explode. But what the hell is that vehicle? I think it might be a Panzer I, or maybe it's a repurposed Russian T-70. It looks like a T-70 with the front slope, but I can't be too sure. But let us continue. US forces, and they get Italian partisans. Now, historically, partisans did occur. They did occur. There were quite a lot of them, and I know Relic has been dying to try and get their partisan models into the game. Now, what appears to be what they're busy throwing off there is some white phosphorus. Yes, Willie Pete, as our Americans like to call them. Let's see. So it looks like they might get some ambush tactics, which is all good. Mines, yes. Partisans were notorious for using mines, explosives, and taking out infrastructure, mainly railway crossings, mining roads, and cutting telephone wires, and so on and so forth. In fact, the French resistance were quite notorious for it. Despite what many people like to believe, the French resistance, believe it or not, was not one galvanized force. It was a bunch of little forces running around. So there were like the communist, French resistance, there was like the socialist French resistance, and then they were basically fighting. There was a whole kind of like little mini civil war because they were busy fighting against each other to to see who would get control of France after the war. Now, Italy did have its partisans, or did have its resistances. In fact, the whole Iberian coast had a whole bunch of partisans running left, right, and center. Now, I don't know why the Americans are getting it, because you know who was really kind of operating all these resistance groups? Yes, believe it or not, it was the British. Yes, the British were operating them. But we got to give the Americans something. So far, so good. Historical accuracy, we're looking good here. Next.
It belongs to the Kriegsmarine now.
Now, this is where my jimmies are going to get ruffled. Kriegsmarine. Why? I mean, really, why? I mean, you got to give them something. You know, you got to give the Africa Corps something. But really, the Kriegsmarine, unless they're going to deploy a submarine in the desert, this is a bit of a joke. Yes, in the late war, the Kriegsmarine were kind of drafted into frontline use because, you know, the Germans were running out of men. And it appears to be we're going to get some sort of Kriegsmarine levies that have been drafted in, and what appears to be some more building. Ah, yes, more building. Yes, so the Allies can't play SimCity anymore. As much as my colleagues like to play SimCity in Company 2, it appears the British cannot play SimCity anymore. And the Germans get more field emplacements. But I am quite interested to see how this Kriegsmarine levy runs in game. But really, the Kriegsmarine, I mean, apart from like their submarines, they were kind of largely useless. I mean, yes, they did sneak Africa Corps into North Africa, but they were largely kept in check by, guess what, the Royal Navy. So I don't know why they've added them in. I know why they added them in, so they can give the Germans a little bit more, because they can't exactly go more about Rommel. But this is another thing. Are they doing late war or early war? I mean, I really can't tell, because they're focusing a lot on late war things. But yes, let us hope we see some desert camouflage submarines. All right. Once again, another thing given to the Africa Corps that shouldn't have happened. I'm looking at you, Oliphant. Right. Next. Ah, the Brits. The Poles. Oh, this is good stuff. The Poles were a excellent fighting force in World War II. Now, as many people know, I do enjoy 40k. Warhammer 40k, that is. Now, the best way to describe the Poles in Warhammer 40k is the Death Corps of Krieg. Yes, the Poles were literally like the Death Corps of Krieg. They were doing suicide charges. They were doing insane assaults. Like throughout the entire campaign, there's documented evidence of these men going over and above, charging into ridiculously dangerous situations and coming up triumphant. And of course, there's always the Polish Legion was a fearsome fighting force. Now, this is looking pretty cool, because I would love to get like the Poles in, and now. Oh, you know what that is, ladies and gentlemen. That is it's a Sherman Firefly. Yes, the best of American industrial might and British buffonry combined into one tank. Yes, that is a tank with a 17-pounder in it, baby. Ha ha! German armor will quiver and quake at the sound of its mighty treads. Yes, and it looks like it is equipped. It is equipped with the Tulip rocket system, where basically some absolute madlad, after figuring out a way to figure out how to put a 17-pounder into a Churchill, they went, hold my tea and biscuits, and they took the rocket system off a Hawker Typhoon and slapped it on the side of a tank. I mean, that's brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Finally, we have the Firefly. Oh, many of my people in my Discord have been praying for the day of the Firefly. Oh, so let's have a look here. So let's have a look here. So the Germans are going to get more emplacements. Yay. Well, the Panther turret emplacement did happen. They did basically just took tank turrets and just stuck it in the ground because they couldn't afford to make the rest of the tank in the last stages of the war. So it looks like they're going to be getting some Forks Grenadier, hopefully. Forks Grenadier? Yeah, Forks Grenadier, which is basically just civilian levies recruited to fill in the gaps in the late war. They were equipped with basically Panzerschrecks, and they were actually given a disposable flamethrower. I wonder if this will turn up in the game. Followed by this weird contraption, which I don't know what it is. I think it might be just a captured chassis of a T-70, a Russian tank, which the Germans do have Russian vehicles or Russian guns in the game. And in fact, might actually be a Czech tank. Don't know. I'll have to check into this. Please leave a comment if you do know what vehicle this is. But they just looks like they just slapped a Werfer on top. And then we got our Kriegsmarine levies over here and our more emplacements. Yay. And no sign of the Desert Submarine. We shall hold out and hope for the Desert Submarine. And then we have our Italian partisans over here. Ooh, it looks like they're going to have some tunnel network. That's going to be quite interesting to play with. I hope that's going to be quite interesting. And let's have a look here. Ooh, so we get the poles, yay! And then we get the Firefly, even more, yeah, yes. Wah. Oh, and we get the land mattress. Oh, yes, finally some British rocketry. Yes. So, yes. So, we're getting a new tank for, well, I mainly play the Brits, ladies and gentlemen, so I am more excited for the Brits because we get a good tank, though I'm still holding out for the common tank, hopefully to keep that German armor in check and keeping it where it belongs, at the bottom. German armor is a bit dogshite, historically speaking, though in this game, Relic seems to make German armor near invincible, even though a 6-pounder would go through a Tiger. Hell, even a Sherman 5-pounder would go through a Tiger. But you can fight me in the comments with this. I'm more excited for the new British stuff, because I am a British main player. I'm excited for the land mattress. Oh, I'm so happy for the land mattress. Finally, some British rocketry, yes. And get the poles, which is great to see the poles. I'm always excited to see less popular forces in historical settings. One day I would hope to see, hopefully we get to the SAS. And we get the Firefly, yes, yes. It's looking good so far. Historical accuracy, I would give it 6 out of 10. Yeah, it's a 6 out, yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Unfortunately, the Afrika Korps Kriegsmarine is really, really holding it back. If it was given to the Wehrmacht, it would have been much better, because Wehrmacht was late war. Once again, Relic can't decide if this is late war or early war, but we shall take what we get. I am looking forward to playing with my playing with my Fireflies and my new land mattresses. But yes, this is going to be a good. I can't wait. Apparently, it's going to be out on the 27th of November. So, my dear viewers and associate armchair generals, this DLC looks pretty good, stuffed with all sorts of treats and fun things to play with. And I hope to see you on the battlefield soon. And if you would like to catch me live, I mainly stream on Twitch, and you can come join me in the Discord, where you can see what shenanigans and tomfoolery I get up to. But until I see you on the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen, I shall bid thee an absolutely smashing day, and cheerio!